What's good, fam? It's Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood, talking about anything and everything that impacts the culture. And today I want to talk a little bit of music, and more specifically, I want to talk about the game. So if some of you are not familiar with the game, you probably need to check your West Coast greats. I'm a big fan of the game. Now, in all honesty, he is not in my top 10. But I will say that recently I've been listening and dissecting some of his music again a little bit more so lately, and he's good. He's worth an honorable mention. Again, I won't put him on top 10. I'm a little bit older, so there's some cats that are on my top 10 list that just, he just can't mess with for a number of reasons. And when I do top 10s, I do them based on, as far as hip hop and the top 10s that I have listed on my channel. In fact, I have a whole playlist that you can check out. I base it on the impact that those hip hop artists have done on the culture. So it's not, look, anybody's top 10 is subjective, right? It's all what you like and how you measure it. But I think it's important to list how you measure how somebody is dope or they're good as far as music's concerned, right? And so that brings me to who the game is calling out. And the game is calling out Eminem. Right? Now, I will say Eminem is on my top 10 because he's impacted the culture in a big way. I don't really do my top 10s based on sales, even though he has those. But let's go a little bit deeper into what exactly am I talking about in this, right? So the game was recently on Drink Champs, right? And with Nori. If you're not familiar with Drink Champs, look it up. Good program. But the one with the game was actually real good. And he was on there, and he basically said that he used to think that Eminem was a better rapper than him, and now he don't think that. In fact, he said that he believes that he could beat M in a versus. And of course, immediately when he said that, everybody's like, "Are you crazy?" They were just like, they were flabbergasted. And in fact, at one time, Game even made the quote, "Don't nobody want beef with the white boy." But seemingly in 2022, the game has changed his tune. And so when it comes to verses, let's talk about verses for a minute. I wouldn't have thought about it beforehand, but I think I would like to see a Game versus Eminem versus. I think that would be good. You only need 20 tracks, so it's not even that you have to have this immense body of work. But you do have to have 20 tracks. It'd be Eminem's 20 tracks versus the Game's 20 tracks. I think the Game could hold him for that first 10. And then Eminem would start pulling away. And then that last 5, it'd be a wrap. I think, in all honesty, I think M would smoke the Game absolutely with that last 5, right? Specifically, if we are going artist for artist. That is to say, nobody that they've been featured on and so on and so forth. So Eminem has done tracks with some huge artists. I mean, he's done them with Jay-Z, he's done them with Rihanna, I mean, he's done them with Dr. Dre, obviously, Snoop, everybody in the game, right? So if we just take all that out, which means Game can't have G-Unit, can't have 50 Cent, can't have, who did he just recently do a track with? But you get what I'm saying, either way, okay? So lyrically, I think after re-listening to some of Game stuff, and if you gotta see that Drink Champs, man. I think M's still gonna put it down. Eminem has a lot of corny raps though, right? So there's a lot of that stuff that he's not gonna be able to put into it. But I think you start looking back. Game has been in the industry for a minute, and he's had quite a few #1 tracks, right? He has a new album out that he's going to be coming out with called Drillmatic. And Whack 100, and Whack 100 is Game's manager, right? He says that there's a diss track on there, dissing Eminem, called The Black Slim Shady. Okay, so that's on there. Oh, it was a song that it was a single that Game recently did with Kanye. And Game's been hanging out with Kanye quite a bit. He actually gives Kanye a lot of big ups, more so than Dr. Dre on that Drink Champs episode, which is crazy. But that's a prime example. Game, if I were to have them do a versus, Game could not bring in that track that he did with Kanye. But like I said, when he made that challenge to M, all the stands came out of the woodwork. as they always do. But let's break this down. If we take sales out of the equation, because no one's going to beat M on the sales, right? Like, he sold more albums than like the Beatles, so it can't be based on sales. And Game made a good analogy in regards to that, is you can't just base the greatest off of sales. Now, if you want to just say who's your top 10 most paid rappers, or who's sold the most, if that's the criteria, okay, that's fine. But as far as who's the best rapper, he made a good point, because look, McDonald's sells the most hamburgers. That don't mean they got the best hamburger. That makes sense for a lot of reasons, right? Everybody knows what a McDonald's cheeseburger tastes like, but it ain't the best cheeseburger on the planet. I think everybody can agree with that. So I understand that analogy. So take that off the table. Okay, lyrically, in regards to obviously your metaphors, your double entendres, punchlines, so on and so forth, M's pretty good. But I will say, I think people really gas up the whole situation and are afraid. They feel like you can't say nothing critical or negative about Eminem. And I've said this in past videos. Again, he is on my top 10. And I got pretty much every album he's come out with, except for maybe one or two, right? So I'm not taking nothing away from him on that. But you can still say somebody's in your top 10 and be critical in certain areas, right? And I think Game is frustrated, and that's what he's really trying to say. And he's willing to put his neck on the line to say it. And I think he really believes, hip hop it's always referred to as a competitive sport. So you got to think you're the best. There ain't a rapper out there that I don't think they're the best. You know what I mean? Or at least in top 10. So that's fair to say. So we'll see what really happens. I'm interested to hear this track. And I think it's fair that Eminem should respond. Look, Eminem has responded to MGK. Eminem has responded to Nick Cannon. Eminem even had some stuff to say back in the day with Mariah Carey when she came out with that whole Obsession track. So why wouldn't you go at Game, right? Why wouldn't you? I mean, he's challenging. Game is definitely of a better caliber than Nick and MGK as far as hip hop's concerned, no doubt. So Eminem almost has to respond to the actual diss track if it comes out. He don't have to respond to, I don't think, to anything on Drink Champs or anything like that. But Game is still grinding and really wants to do this. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, now if it goes this route, does it bring 50 into it? Hopefully not, because I think that'll take away some of the credibility. Like I've said, like you want to go bar for bar, artist for artist, and it's not about the money. Everybody wants to always boil it down to the money. Game, he got enough money, right? Eminem absolutely has enough money, but I think for Game, it's more of a legacy thing, right? Now it's just he wants to be the guy that takes down a juggernaut. Okay, that's what it is, right? You step into the arena, you got to take out the biggest guy, and if he takes out Eminem or even goes at Eminem, it's almost a win-win, right? Because even if he loses, which he probably would, in all honesty, he still went at him and still gave potentially M a run for his money. Everybody knew, like, this isn't just diss track for diss track. This is a versus that Game really wants. And I think him coming out with this diss track is him trying to lure M and bring M out, right? So, and honestly, I think it'll work. I mean, M just doesn't care. I mean, like he even told MGK, I had to give you a career in order to take it. Which for MGK, arguably, okay. But Game's already known. The Game is already known. So, you know what? And maybe Game is a little salty because he wasn't at the Super Bowl with Dr. Dre. Who knows, right? But look, tell me what you think. I mean, I already know what some of you are going to think, but let's go ahead and chew this up in the comments. And I'd be interested in just kind of get some perspectives and just kind of see, right? Just really what you think. Does the Game have a chance? Will M even respond? Should M even respond? Any of that. But look, till next time, this is today's video. Till next time, this is Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, peace.